This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of honoring your health. I need to give credit where credit is due. The presentation slides that I am using is part of the Health at Every Size curriculum. And the focus of this particular presentation is developing a healthy relationship with food and exercise. This curriculum was developed by a team of individuals representing 3 different organizations: the Society for Nutrition, Education, and Behavior, the National Association for the Advancement of Fat Acceptance, and the Association for Size Diversity and Health. Health at Every Size supports people in adopting health habits for the sake of health and well-being, rather than a focus of weight control or weight loss. Health at Every Size, also referred to as HAES, encourages eating in a flexible manner that values pleasure and honors the internal cues of hunger. So you're honoring your hunger, the satiety, you're honoring your fullness and appetite. It also encourages finding the joy in moving your body and becoming more physically vital, as well as accepting and respecting the natural diversity of all body sizes and shapes. For our purposes today, we will be focusing on the first and second concepts: eating in a flexible manner that values pleasure and honors your hunger, satisfaction, and appetite, as well as finding joy in moving naturally, just because it's incredible to be able to move. We often adopt many food and exercise rules based on what we see in the media. So, in this presentation, I'll be talking about the negative side effects of thinking black and white about food and exercise. I'll also talk to you about the different cues for eating and how to tune into hunger and fullness to guide eating timing as well as amounts. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to be measuring or weighing anything. You're going to be trusting your body. We'll also talk about how to be ready when hunger strikes with some basic tips for planning snacks and meals. We'll spend some time talking about cravings and how to remain mindful while you're eating. We'll also talk a little bit about eating for emotional reasons and finish talking about finding fun ways to be active. Often we do a lot of black and white thinking when it comes to eating. We tend to label foods as good or bad and then experience guilty feelings when eating foods on the quote unquote bad list and pride when we eat foods on that good list. This back and forth can be emotionally exhausting. Raise your hand if you've ever had thoughts like these when eating. I know I have, and I'm guessing that most of us have had these at some point. Feel free to take some time to think about what happens when we label foods as good or bad. Most of the time, what we experience is that we become obsessed about food, and the eating experience itself becomes less enjoyable. If we mix black and white together, it makes gray. If we stopped this internal battle and listened to our entire body, not just our brains, maybe our thoughts would resemble something more like these gray thoughts. I kind of want something crunchy and salty. I think I'll have some carrots and some chips. Pizza sounds good. I like giving my body the nutrients it needs. I think I'll have a salad with my pizza. Honey Nut Cheerios are too sweet. Regular Cheerios are too boring. I'll mix them together. I feel like being active, but I don't feel like running today. I think I'll go for a walk. So look at this yo-yo. Most of us know how to use a yo-yo. Now, we all know that yo-yos go up and they go down. You've probably even heard the term yo-yo dieting, where body weight goes up and down. What's interesting about yo-yos is that they are basically impossible to get them to stop halfway. This is very similar to yo-yo dieting because yo-yo dieting results in these extreme ups and downs in thought patterns and weight, making it impossible to find middle ground. However, if we let the yo-yo drop all the way down, it could easily start swinging from side to side, and then we have a pendulum. When we label foods as good and restrict those foods, the yo-yo gets pulled all the way to one side. We stay here as long as we can, restricting until one day we give up and we throw in the towel. What happens to the yo-yo if we let go? It swings to the other side, representing our internal food rebel. We say, oh, forget it. I just really want some birthday cake. My diet is over. Then we eat some birthday cake. And since we're quote unquote off our diet, we might as well have the 6 other foods we've been missing. Now what happens? Guilt sets in. I feel fat. I shouldn't have eaten that. I really blew it. I'll start my diet again tomorrow. Then restriction, then binge, then restriction, then binge. And the swinging continues. But if we don't pull as far over to the food police side and begin restricting, perhaps we won't swing so far over to the food rebel side, and we'll find this nice, happy middle ground. If you stop pulling on the yo-yo, it will eventually stop swinging. It won't stop swinging immediately. It takes time to lose momentum. And in the same way, it may take years to rid ourselves of the dieting mentality. Developing a healthy relationship with food, movement, and our body takes time, but there is freedom on the other side.